Ephraim Amu had two controversies about him. The first issue with Ephraim Amu was that he insisted on wearing cloth to preach in a church. And trust me, in 1933, that was a sin. You can't wear cloth, you can't wear Achimota to preach. Now, the church and the school wrote a letter to him. I'm going to show you the letter they wrote to Ephraim Amu in 1933. They said, you want to wear cloth to preach, and you want to play drums in our church. We can't allow cloth in the church in preaching. We can't allow that. Neither can we allow you to play any drum. So let me read the letter they wrote to him. It's a very short letter. This letter was written from the Gold Coast Presbyterian Church Synod Clerk's Office, 20th October 1933. It says, accept my sincere thanks for your kind letter. This is a letter from Dr. E. Akwa to a group of people who were running the Presbyterian Training College. I beg to say that Mr. Ephraim Amu cannot continue in our training college in the next year because of the following reasons. 1. Mr. Amu attempted to introduce the fashion of preaching in the native garment or cloth or frontuma or pulpit, which practice offends majority of educated and non-educated community. So the fact that something is an affront to a norm among so-called elite doesn't make it wrong. Okay, so if somebody has long hair and is sitting in a class, doesn't mean that he's less of a serious person than somebody with short hair. Now, he was approached politely by the church through the ex-synod clerk, the present moderator, and one of two eminent persons to stop the practice, but he would not hear them. Several other people spoke with him, but it was to no avail. He was therefore forbidden to preach if he would not preach in European dress, which he uses when attending school. He agreed not to preach. So Ephraim Amu said, if you will not allow me to preach in the African way, I won't preach. Second sin, still in the same letter, Mr. Amu has brought into the college different sorts of drums, horns, etc., beating the drum and teaching some people how to beat the drums and how to dance. The synod committee, finding the results detrimental to the church, ordered him to remove the drums from the college, but defied the authority of the synod committee and continued the practice almost a year, playing drum in a church. He was informed that if he would not obey the orders of the synod committee, he will be transferred at the end of the year, but he disregarded the warning and has made our synod, held on the 13th October, understand that he will not give up beating of drums and will continue till the end of the year and leave the training college. Ephraim Amu, the synod committee considered this behavior as actual stubbornness and will decide on his transfer to the Ever Presbyterian. Oh, in this next meeting in November. So the Presbyterian church sacked him to EP. They sacked him to EP Church. We regret the necessity of his removal because of the good work he has done, but this behavior is unbearable. We have been very patient with him, but he is self-willed and obdurate. With kindest regards, your brother in Christ, D. Akwa. I'm taking this from my friend Philip Lai's book, Ephraim Amu, nationalist poet and theologian. So, Presbyterian Training College threw out Ephraim Amu because in 1933, it was indecent to wear our cloth to preach at a pulpit. And we couldn't play our drum. We should only play the white man's organ. So they threw him out of the school. I don't have time to read from Amu's letter. But something interesting happened. So they threw him out of the school 20th October 1933. 1st January 1934, Ephraim Amu gets a telegraph from, guess who? A.G. Fraser. Who is A.G. Fraser? A.G. Fraser is the first headmaster of Achimota School. He was a Scottish man. Reverend A.G. Fraser, Fraser House. His assistant, of course, number 2, is called the man whose voice who's a picture I showed you, Agri. A.G. Fraser offers Ephraim Amu an appointment at Achimota School to come and continue and teach students the things the Presby Training College sacked him for doing. So on 1st January 1934, Ephraim Amu writes a letter. to the Synod Committee, Pastor and beloved masters, I wish to let you know that they have called me to the big school in Achimota, and I have been given work as a teacher from the beginning of this year. I also agreed to receive the work, and therefore I'm going to start work this month. I thank you for your sympathies. Your son, Ephraim Amu, sent through Osofo R.S. Kwame, Synod Clerk, to the Synod Committee. So, the Presbyterian Training College sacked him for wearing cloth to preach and for playing the drum. Achimota School, Living Water to a Thirsty Land, says, we want you to come. We need your far-sightedness. We like your innovation. We think you are a brilliant musical mind. Come and impact. In fact, Adolphus Texan has a very interesting write-up on Achimota School in Ephraim Amu. Adolphus Texan says that some of the traditions in Achimota School today were introduced by Ephraim Amu. In one of it, he says, not only was Amu an excellent teacher and a perfect role model, he also played a significant role in research into musical tradition and culture in Ghana. He encouraged a number of innovative ideas into the educational system in Ghana. For example, at Achimota School, he reaffirmed the wearing of native attire on Sundays during evening church service, at a time when mission schools were enforcing European-style attire for all occasions. He himself always dresses in native attire even today. 2. Participation by all students and staff in Achimota in what became known as tribal music and dancing at Achimota School was also introduced by Ephraim Amu. Achimota soon became a model of excellence for other schools. It had acquired an image of the African personality, leading the way to a cultural emancipation even before the era of independence, a tradition made possible for the entire country to follow. So, PT, Professor Aite and Co, please, I want you to reflect on Fraser.